women in the same way.
So then, for you, and this is actually another one of our social media questions from Kathy D on Facebook. She asks, what challenges have you faced in being a female filmmaker? And I'm going to extend that question by, asking about imbuing your characters with actual agency. I mean, obviously you make your own films, but it's expensive to make films. And I know we're going to get to talking about your feature later that you're working on, but how difficult has it been? I guess I'm asking overall, but especially with trying to raise the funding to really make your projects that are very female, strong agency based.
Funding is hard for everyone, being a filmmaker, across the board, no matter who you are. And so if you have a very specific story to tell, for instance, I've gotten into various workshops, labs. Film Independent has a lab called Fast Track that selects a certain number of projects, and you get to pitch to industry professionals in LA. They fly you out. It's a great experience. However, you're pitching to the same people. You're pitching to, if you're lucky, there will be a woman at the table. If you're lucky, there will be a woman of color at the table. So these are the people who dictate what projects get funding, even in independent cinema, even in the granting sources like CineReach and Tribeca. So yes, funding is always a challenge, but I've been able to kind of work around that in the sense that I create backwards. I create based on what I have access to, what I have immediate access to, rather than writing something that's going to cost a lot of money. I try to keep my budget low so I keep that in mind as I'm writing. I write with my producing hat on. But funding is always a challenge, and I'm allergic to crowdsourcing right now. I just feel like it's so diluted, and Issa Rae was able to raise around $500,000 for Alton Sterling's family.
Has it reached 500?
Yeah, it's slightly, I think it's around 500,000. So it's like, in light of the things that are affecting our communities and the things that we need to crowdfund for, it's hard for me to crowdfund for my art right now. I just have a moral dilemma, and it feels very narcissistic, but it is the current landscape, and it is how things are getting funded. So for us, particularly for the feature that we're venturing into now, we hope to crowdfund for post-production. So have stuff to show you that we've shot, we've gotten through production, we've shot everything, but we need the money to finish, which is different from just give me my entire budget. It works for some people.
So what you're talking about your film, let's get into it and we'll circle back to some other stuff. Okay?
Right.
So the feature film you're working on right now is Flowers. Can you tell the audience a little bit more about what that is?
Okay, so Flowers is a short film right now, but it was conceived of as a feature initially. So we had to break it down to make it a short, as opposed to creating a short and expanding it to make it a feature. And it's about two Brooklyn teen girls who seek revenge on a teacher, and their revenge plot backfires. So in terms of genre, it is coming of age, but it's also a thriller. And it spawned from, I'm a full-time teacher, I'm sure that's gonna come up, but I'm a full-time educator in the Department of Education. I teach filmmaking to students at a public school in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Community Arts and Media High School, BCAM for short. So I just saw these amazing kids with just this dynamism and this charisma, natural charisma, that didn't need to be honed theatrically, didn't need to go to acting school, didn't need to do all these things to prep for the camera. They just had this natural energy about them. And so the idea spawned from that. And summer vacation, you have access to teenagers, and you don't necessarily have to pay them, but you do have to feed them. So yeah, again, working backwards based on your resources. And how many coming-of-age films do we have with Black girls as the leads? We have Crooklyn, we have East Bayou, we have just another girl on the IRT, but it's like, is it IRT?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
So we don't have a huge body of coming-of-age films. So while we're still utilizing resources that we have access to, one of the few privileges of being a woman of color filmmaker who's featuring yourself is that you're contributing to a body of work that's very small inherently, even if you shot a black girl in a room, so yeah.
Mhm. So then you're saying that the casting, because actually you're circling right into all the questions that we have here already. We had another question from Facebook from yeah, sure, from a young woman, Giovanna W. She says, when casting, do you have an idea about how the characters look? Does that change when there's a really good audition from a person that doesn't have the look that you have in mind?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Really good question. I try to be as flexible as possible with who I end up casting in terms of aesthetics, but this is a tricky subject because some people get offended, which is okay. I think that there is a preference in Hollywood in particular for black women who are just barely aesthetically black. My mom is biracial, so it's kind of like saying your friend is black, so you're not racist, but I do see the nuance of ambiguously black women being primarily casted as the black woman, and I consciously make a decision to not contribute to that.
Mm.
So, but ultimately, obviously, if I have a girl who is phenotypically looks more biracial and I have a girl who phenotypically looks very black, African American, African, whatever, I'm gonna go towards the one who is a stronger performer, but I do tend to prefer black women who are obviously black, who don't look biracial, who don't look ambiguous.
Mm.
That's the only preference that I have, only because it's just so important to reflect an aesthetic that has been downtrodden for so long, that has been, and now that I teach 11th and 12th grade, and I see how it affects these girls' self-esteem to not see their aesthetic reflected as beautiful in the media. It's getting better,
yeah,
but I want to contribute to it getting better by showcasing these beautiful black and brown girls who have a certain aesthetic.
I want to stay on that topic for a little while because, like you said, it does seem to be getting better.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if that's a cycle right now, of course, because it very well could be. But it seems to be, and like even whenever I see like news, like Hollywood Reporter, Variety, it always seems like there's all these black women in particular getting promoted into these television and film jobs, executive jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Behind
the scenes, yes. But you're saying that when you go into try to get money and try to talk to these folks, that you don't see people of color, women of color in particular, in those roles. So I just wonder from you as an insider, so is what we're seeing in the news?
Well, you have
accurate?
your Shonda Rhimes, you have your Oprah Winfrey, you have your Ava DuVernay, but they're not necessarily accessible.
Yeah.
So the first line of defense when you're an independent filmmaker is pitching to people who work at Cinereach, Tribeca, Sundance. And most of the faces at these places are not black women, or not black people, or not even people of color. Usually you're dealing with white males, even at the granting source, at the big granting sources. And then after them is white women. So, no, I'm not necessarily seeing, my face is reflected back at me when I'm pitching a concept and seeking money, which is not, it doesn't have to be automatically a no just because the person sitting across from you is white female, whatever. But it helps if they're more likely to invest in your project if they feel some sort of personal connection to your project. For instance, Fruitvale. How many people have seen Fruitvale?
Good.
So Fruitvale, I loved it. I love Brian Coogler. I met him a few times. He's very passionate. There's a scene, there's this random white couple in the film that I feel like doesn't really lend to the narrative. There's a scene where our protagonist saves a dog that was just run over. Those are beats that were clearly suggested by white people. And it's because they needed to see themselves in the film. They needed to see him befriend white people to care about him. They needed to see him save a dog to care about his Black humanity. And so there are nuances depending on who you're interacting with to create a narrative. And as someone who's quite woke, I see them often, and I think that, yes, so it does affect who's across the table for me determining whether or not you get funding for your film.
Indeed. No, thank you for keeping it real with us on that.
Hope Ryan doesn't blacklist me now. Hey Ryan.
Ryan, I'm sure Ryan is woke.
No, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, I wasn't answering for him, but I know he is. So
yeah.
so with that, like actually let's stay on flowers for a little while longer. I just want to circle back to that again. So are these non-actors that you use?
Yes.
So they are. Wow.
Okay. So with the exception of the teacher is a white male, which was a very intentional decision, and the students are 2 Black girls. And the girls that we found, I mean, they had experience doing high school plays. They're legitimately high schoolers when we found them. Now they're freshmen in college. But we intentionally wanted to seek out non-actor teens who just had an authenticity and a charisma. And it's very similar. Are you guys familiar with Andrea Arnold, Fish Tank? She has a new film out called American Honey. She's one of the filmmakers whom I admire, who work with non-actors a lot. So most of the foreign films, the foreign cinema that I really like, Blue is the Warmest Color, French film, you're plucking people out of obscurity and you're honing whatever natural ability they have. Whereas American cinema tends to rely on names and what has she been in, where can I see her before I give you money for this?
About the marketing.
It's very much a business here, which is, it's capitalism. But there is just there's just something really interesting about seeing faces that you haven't seen before who just convey naturalism in cinema. And so, yeah, these girls just had natural ability. And we had an intense casting process. My co-director and I, Yvonne Shirley, had an intense casting process with local schools, reached out to teachers, reached out to parents, and we cast it actually at the high school where I teach.
We know you live in Bed-Stuy because you didn't even hear the sirens. You just keep on talking.
Gunshots, sirens.
Yeah, that's something. Hey, let's.
Fireworks. 10 days after 4th of July.
Let's not. 10 days before, 10 days after. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ricky Lene, the head of development at Nuance Entertainment. I'm one of the story writers and actors in Anthology, and I'm one of the creators and actors in The Retreat. Please support the Luminal Theater's live telethon fundraising event on November 30th and all the work that they do to show the work of Black filmmakers, the Black community, and beyond. Give now or give on November 30th. Just go to luminaltheater.org/support. It's that easy.
So, what's Davina up to?
I don't know. I think she's looking for work, really, and trying to find, some way to sing or do something. I don't know. As far as I know, she's been going to karaoke sometimes, but I don't know if she's doing anything real serious yet.
Does she have a plan?
I assume so. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to help her out. Give her a space.
I really think that maybe we should talk to her about, I don't know, about maybe getting a vocal coach.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you should maybe say something to her.
I think that's for you to do. You're her cousin.
Yeah, I'm her cousin. She doesn't listen to family.
So I had this dream the other day. I was swimming in the Pacific Ocean, but it was supposed to be the Atlantic. But then, I don't know, it was warm. And there were icebergs floating around. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Giant lizard swims up onto this little sandbar, and then it looks me dead in the eyes. And then it takes a giant shit.
I didn't expect the shit part.
Interesting keyword for that's a stupid dream.
No, it's not stupid. It's actually not stupid at all because I had a very similar dream.
Really?
I did.
I'd love to hear about it.
I had a really similar dream. So I was in this weird trance state, and I walked into my kitchen, and there was a bowl, a big ass bowl of water on my counter, and then I took my phone and just placed it in the bowl, and then turned around, walked away. I clearly destroyed my phone because I'm angry, clearly, at myself for being so into it, my phone and all kinds of things. I don't know. I feel like your dream means that you maybe need to face your fears.
Yeah. I need to get my shit together. Oh, fuck.
Sorry, I'm just a little out of it. That train took forever. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Is all of Brooklyn like that? Yeah, just moved here, so.
So, how's your meal?
Oh, it's good, thank you.
Do you want anything else?
No, not right now.
So, do you have any big plans for tonight?
Yeah, I'm actually super busy today. I have to take a Skype call from LA. I actually have a manager who's interested in representing me. So really excited. She's represented a bunch of YouTube personality. That's what I do. YouTube videos, beauty, makeup, hair. So I have that, and then I'm probably gonna hang out with some girlfriends later tonight. So super busy all the time.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me today. Recently I've begun to consider what makes this church family so special. A lot of you know my father, some of you even knew my mother. And I have a verse here that I feel sums up what she meant to me. Through zeal, knowledge is gotten. Through lack of zeal, knowledge is lost. Let a man who knows this double path of gain and loss thus place himself, that knowledge may grow.
What is that? I don't remember that.
Well, those verses are actually from the Dhammapada, which was said to be spoken by the Buddha.
By the Buddha, I know.
Just because it's not in a Christian Bible doesn't mean that it's
Junior,
gibberish.
I didn't say it was gibberish. What I'm saying is that you can't go into a church and preach outside of the word that you're trying to deliver.
It's my sermon, right? I should be able to put it together any way I want. That's why I'm doing all this research. I have a plan. And just because it's not your plan doesn't mean that I'm an idiot, that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, guess what? You're gonna have to figure it out.
What'd you do today? Just slept?
I went out for a little bit, but just relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You work on your singing at all?
I mean,
It might be a good stepping stone to just get a vocal coach. Like someone who has worked with people who you want to be like, artists you respect and look up to. You sort of like find your own voice, like figure out how you want to sound, how you want to sound, what kind of music you want to work with, and then they have connections.
Yeah, that's awesome, right? There are plenty of people that can help you, kind of show you the ropes, show you the industry, teach you a little thing. I know nothing about this stuff, so.
You don't know shit.
I'm just trying to throw some stuff out there for you. Help you stay on your path.
I didn't know, but I want to help you, right? Like I want to. I mean, if this is what you want, then you have to take a step towards it to see if that's really what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Could you point me towards a quiet gathering full of bugs and holes?
For you tonight. I never fucking give a shit about the food. It's not funny. It's not good. It's not fair to me as a person.
Do you want to listen to what I have to say, or are you just gonna keep cutting?
I kind of don't want to listen to what you have to say.
Why don't we at least try, okay? Every time that I mess up,
We were trying. We've had this conversation 1,000 times. Can you finally just give me one?
Okay. It's not that bad anymore. It's not that often.
What could possibly have made you want a drink?
I got scared, okay?
You got scared of what? Of being a real person? Well, welcome to life, okay? I thought that this could be good. I thought that this could work. And I want it to work. I really want it to work. But you don't give a shit about us.
I'm trying.
You don't. The impetus for you to fucking drink is like a pin dropping on the floor. No, go have another fucking whiskey.
Stop.
No, I'm fucking done with this.
Yeah, I'm more of a Solange than a Beyonce type myself.
Please stop.
I'm just a Solange man. What can I say? I know it's not the popular stance to take. Wow.
It is very unpopular.
Wow. Talking about impressive. This is something. This is a large mirror.
Yeah.
This is, I've never seen anything like this. Where did you find this?
I ordered it online, but I've had it for a few years.
And look at this. You can do it. Be brave. Who wrote this? Might I ask?
I wrote it.
You wrote it.
Yes, I did. And these are things that I try to practice.
The
keeping in mind.
world is an oyster, so eat.
Well, when someone else reads it, it sounds really strange. So
That's not strange.
I'm glad you don't think so.
Nothing strange about you.
Oh, okay.
I worked here for a reason.
My God. All right. Okay, it's on.
Kristen, is Esther here?
John?
Hey, Esther.
Hey, how are you, sweetie? Nice to see you. What's up?
Is that offer still on the table?
Sure.
Yeah?
Why not? Of course. No need to explain. Don't worry, just come by later.
'Cause I only see you in the dark. Ooh, yeah. In the dark. Ooh, it is magical. And I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it this, I like it this, I like it this. Ooh, yeah.
Recording in progress.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, it's all good. Right. Yeah. Technology, man, I understand. Yeah, but what I've seen so far, man, it's looking good, man. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this. Sounds good. Cool. Okay. All right. It's cool.
All right, Chris, we're going to get started. Hey, everybody. My name is Curtis Caesar John. Welcome back. This right here is going to be our interview with Christopher Everett, a very, very good friend of the Luminal and partner with the Luminal, but best known as director of Wilmington on Fire and of the fantastic upcoming film Grandmaster. So welcome, Chris. Welcome back to our airwaves, and welcome to the telethon.
Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course, man. No, your family, your Luminal family. You had to be a part of this. You technically were a part of this already because we showed a Q&A that you co-hosted with us for our Sundance screenings. So, so thank you and welcome back, bro. So, very quickly, for those who don't know, I'm just going to read your bio very quickly. Because, we have some new timers in here, which we're supposed to have, so that's a good thing. So, and excuse me, everybody, I can't be in a video right now, but we have Chris here, and it's more important you see him than you see me. But Christopher Everett is a Durham, North Carolina-based producer and director of the award-winning documentary film Wilmington on Fire. He is the founder and president of Speller Street Films and currently works with Southern Documentary Fund. Christopher is currently filming his next two documentaries, Wilmington on Fire Chapter 2 and Grandmaster, which looks at the legacy of martial arts pioneer Vic Moore. He is also the co-founder of Black Docs, a program of Chris's Speller Street Films and Us Here at the Luminal. Black Docs is our ongoing initiative to help build an authentic documentary film culture within the African American community through film screenings, webinars, and more interactive film events. Our ongoing virtual screenings, which we're going to resume in 2022, are in partnership with Film Festival Flicks. All right, so welcome again, Chris.
Cool, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit more. Ooh, what happened here? Okay, I think we're having a little issue with your bandwidth, it says. So we'll... Oh, I don't know what's happening. Anyway, anyway, thank you for joining us again. Actually, I'm going to try something right here. Hold on one second. Oops, that didn't work. Forget it. So tell me, can you tell us a little bit more about Wilmington on Fire 2? We showed Wilmington on Fire, the first one, which came out in what year again, Chris?
2000. It came out officially on DVD and streaming 2016.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I didn't want to mislabel your dates. But part 2 is different from Wilmington on Fire, from the original Wilmington on Fire, which focused on the telling the story of the 1898 Wilmington massacre, which a lot of people were unaware about. They were aware of Tulsa, they were aware of Rosewood, but they weren't aware of they were not aware of the Wilmington massacre, which preceded both of those. But Wilmington on Fire 2 is a little different. So tell our audiences how.
I would say, with the first Wilmington on Fire, like you were saying earlier, that the first Wilmington on Fire strictly focused on the history of the 1898 Wilmington massacre in Wilmington, North Carolina. Like you said, we're familiar with Tulsa, we're familiar with Rosewood, but a lot of people weren't familiar with the Wilmington story that preceded both of those events. So what we wanted to do with the second go around, Chapter 2, is to really talk about Wilmington today. Since I did the first Wilmington on Fire, met some amazing people over the years. I even met my wife, who's my wife now. Met her while going to Wilmington to research and film the first film. So I just, met a lot of cool and great, interesting people that were doing some amazing things on the grassroots level. And I felt that a part 2 to this thing was definitely needed to not only show what's going on in Wilmington today, but also the individuals who are really making a huge change and difference and have been inspired by the first Wilmington on Fire as well. To really try to move this city forward and really to try to get out of that stain of the 1898 massacre. So I'm very excited about part 2. I think it was definitely needed, like I said, because anytime we would show the first one, anywhere outside of Wilmington, people always made it seem like Wilmington was hopeless. And I'm saying, no, that's not true at all. Some amazing things going on there. Some amazing people that are doing some amazing things. And I wanted to really capture that with Wilmington on Fire Chapter 2.
It's interesting because you and I have spoken a lot about the film, and I know that I know a lot of great things that are going on in Wilmington, but I love how you remove the stain of the 1898 massacre. It didn't occur to me that so many people were that, I guess, it should be saddened about what happened at the 1898 massacre, obviously, because it drove all, or if not most, of the black people out of Wilmington at the time and just decimated their economics, and a lot of them never even came back, and even their children probably wouldn't even come back, right? But I didn't really consider until you said it just now about, I guguess, how stained it truly is in the eyes of people who were able to see your documentary, and those people are a lot of people because I know it's on Quelly TV and available on other major platforms, Amazon and such too, right? But you had a fantastic, I was going to say festival run, which you have had, but you've also had a number of great screenings outside of its film festival run as well, because this is a film that people just want to see over and over and over again. And so many people just don't get an opportunity to see at first jump, right?
Right. Oh yeah, we had an amazing run, man. I would say, we first kicked it off at the Cucalores Film Festival in Wilmington, North Carolina. One of the reasons why I wanted to start it there, because Cucalores usually happens during the week of when people commemorate the 1898 massacre, which is November 10th. And also, Cucalores has their main stage cinema at Thalian Hall. And Thalian Hall is significant to the story of the 1898 massacre because the people that did the massacre met there first before actually doing the massacre. So all those things were in line with what I wanted to do to really hype this project up and get it as much visibility as possible. And it happened. I think you were writing at Shadow and Neck at the time. You did a great premiere, like world premiere story about what we were doing. And after that, we took it on the road, took it to a whole bunch of festivals, Pan-African Film Festival. I actually won an award there, I think first time Best Documentary Filmmaker for that year at the Pan-African Film Festival. And I didn't expect that at all because Pan-African is huge. It was a lot of films, and I was just happy to be a part of it. Didn't think I was going to win an award, but we did. And then also, we did a lot of community screenings as well. So I would say overall, man, for the past 6 years, we probably screened 500 to 800 times. And I know we've screened several times with your organization as well in New York. And also, we kicked off Black Docs with it as well, which was really cool when we kicked off the screening when we partnered with Stephen Spark with Black Docs and actually had Erica Alexander from Living Single, and she also produces documentaries right now to have her do the Q&A, which was really cool. Just growing up, watching her over the years. I was nervous at first, but it was a great conversation, and that actually helped us get Black Docs going as well. So that was cool also.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. That was a really key screening for your film, and fun too, actually too. So and did pretty well with it too. So I mean, a lot of people were able to see it, especially with last year being what it was. A lot of people had no opportunity or very little opportunity to see it in 2020. So I'm ecstatic that we were able to do that, and that we were able to do that with Erica Alexander as well. She was. At the time, I mean, still is, but she just had the John Lewis documentary come out that she co-produced, and so everyone was in alignment, and it was a beautiful thing. So yeah, absolutely. Before we get to Black Docs, though, let's stay on Black Docs, and then we'll go to Grandmaster. Both of our organizations started Black Docs last year. We weren't like so many others. Obviously, we were not anticipating the pandemic. But we rolled with it and did pretty well with the series as well. So, thank you again for being such a great partner with us on it. Why do you feel, like from your perspective, why do you feel that, us showing the work of Black documentary filmmakers is so crucial to the future of your work and the future of cinema, period, actually?
I think a lot of times we don't realize the importance of exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times people get caught up of just the filmmaking aspect, but they forget about the exhibition aspect and the audience that's needed as well. You can make the best film all day long, but if no one comes to watch it or see it or get engaged with it, what's the point? And so, I think it's very important for not only to show these films, but also show that Black folks are behind these projects as well. I know a lot of times we don't really see a lot of us behind the camera making the decisions to put these projects together, to distribute them as well. And I just felt like, man, I wanted to partner with you, especially, with Black Docs, and get that going and start this initiative to show the importance of that, to show the importance of Black people making these type of powerful works. And also to show the support as well, and also getting our community to get more in line and more involved in the documentary field and genre. So it's not only just about making the films, it's also about the audience engaging and experiencing the films as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and there's so much more we want to do with Black Docs. So I love your perspective on it because the perspective on it is always evolving too, right? That's the well, that's art period, right? That's life too, but that's especially art. It's evolving and should evolve, and we're gonna grow and evolve Black Docs into even more and more of it over the next few years. So,
I'm excited about 2022 also.
oh, absolutely, yeah, no, we got some. Everyone, we got some great things planned for Black Docs. We weren't as prominent in 2021 due to multiple things. Chris is finishing up his film. I was dealing with some other stuff here too, and just expanding the Luminals. So we didn't get to do as much as we wanted to this year, and also some availability to some films that we really wanted to watch. Sorry, we really wanted to program that we will have access to in 2022, and so. Our access means your access, and so y'all will see those. We have about 10 minutes left or so, Chris, and we want to make sure the audience is able to watch brand spanking new trailer for Wilmington on Fire 2, and a nice teaser for Grandmaster. So tell us a little bit more about Grandmaster. It's a martial arts documentary, but it's a lot more than that. So. Can you share?
It's Grandmaster is really my next project. Wilmington on Fire 2 is like the third one. It's coming out as well. But Grandmaster is a project that I started right after the first Wilmington on Fire. Being a martial arts fan, as a kid, I looked up to Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and people like that. But I never really saw a lot of black folks doing it, like that. I came up in the early '90s, late '80s. We had Michael Jai White, Wesley Snipes was doing his thing, but like the big martial arts stars were mostly white guys. So I've always wanted to do a project like this, and having the opportunity, meeting Grandmaster Vic Moore was just a great experience, and him trusting me and believing in me to do a documentary on him. And also, it's just not about his history in martial arts, but also what he's trying to do with these two young guys that he's been working with for a while. And that's what it's all about, showing how martial arts can really strengthen and heal a community and what it can do to an individual. And those are some of the things that we need in the black community now. The discipline and all those good things that martial arts can do for a community. We once did that back in the 70s and stuff like that, 60s. Now it's time to bring that back, and that's what I want the Grandmaster Project to really show. Just like how we did with the first Wilmington on Fire. Before Wilmington on Fire, a lot of people weren't even talking about the Wilmington Massacre of 1898. When we did with Wilmington on Fire, the grassroots movement that we actually created with screenings and engagement and all that really made the 1898 massacre a huge deal. And those are some of the things we want to do as well with martial arts, especially martial arts in the black community. And hopefully the Grandmaster Project can do that. And like I said, we're almost done. We got like 2 things left to shoot. We're actually going to shoot something next week, and then we're going to do the last bit of shooting in January, and then we'll start post-production. But this film, we've been filming this film for about 4 years now, and the time is now to really give Grandmaster Vic Moore his flowers. Some of his achievements. He's one of the first black karate champions in the United States. Done speed competitions against Bruce Lee. We actually licensed some of that footage, so you'll see that in the film as well.
Oh.
He's fought. Yeah, man, we got some cool footage of him and Bruce Lee actually doing a test of speed against each other. So we got that. We got some cool photos of him and Chuck Norris. He was at an elite level during the 60s, and he's a pioneer of the sport. When karate became a professional sport in the 1960s, and he's from Cincinnati, Ohio, but he's been in North Carolina since the 70s, and he's still in North Carolina to this day teaching. And so I'm excited to not only show his history, but also the legacy he's leaving behind for these 2 young up-and-coming fighters.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because what I've always been impressed with your work is your focus on legacy. Even some other projects that you and I have spoken about it. I think it's first, I'm not sure, but I think it's the first time I've actually heard you use the word legacy. But that's exactly what my next Not question, more I guess more comment was going to be about your work that I always enjoyed about it and been impressed by is that I guess that's in so many ways. I mean, this is me saying it, not you, but I guess it's kind of like your aesthetic, you know, is that focus on legacy, which is so key for so many of us, especially when you're looking to change the narrative on Black life and Black culture. So thank you for that, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and a lot of the films that people see me involved in, or that I do myself, or you know, maybe executive produce, you know, it really focuses on the Black experience in the American South.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the things that, like I said, Vic Moore, he's been in North Carolina since the 70s. You know, the Wilmington Massacre is right here in Wilmington, and some newer projects that I have in development as well are about the Black experience in the South. So, you know, I really want to continue to do that, to show that Black experience, that history and culture, you know, right here in the South, that we have some amazing stories that need to be told. And hopefully I can tell them, or also help others tell those stories as well.
And if I can add or maybe ask, but just different types of Southern stories too, right? Like, you know, unfortunately, too often when people think of Southern stories, I'm really not sure why this happens. And someone who is better equipped academically than I can say maybe, but like they tend to go straight to Louisiana and then all this magical realism stuff. And if it's not that, especially like here in South Carolina, is everyone thinks it's like a Gullah Geechee thing, and there's tons of people, most people probably are not Gullah Geechee, you know. That's not part of their legacy, and obviously there's nothing wrong with being part of your legacy. I'm not saying that at all, but there's so many more stories, right?
And you see that even with my work, you know,
Yeah.
we deal with, you know, racial massacre with Wilmington, martial arts, you know, as
Yep,
well.
yep.
And so these other projects we have are going to be about Black building and architects. Actually, we're about to start filming that in a couple of months. It's called We Built This, the profiles of Black builders and architects in North Carolina.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be dope, man. We've been developing that for a year. Got funding through Preservation North Carolina, so they're partnering with us on that. It's going to be a two-part documentary, and so that's been what I've always been about too. Because a lot of people want to just pigeonhole me and put me into just doing stuff about Black oppression. It's many things. Now, Wilmington on Fire, you know, yeah, we had to do it that way. But even with Wilmington on Fire too, yeah, some things that's going on in Wilmington now, but we also showing a different side and a different light in Wilmington. And also even with Vic Moore, you know, he's in the South. It's a story. You have a lot of martial artists from the South, Black
Yes.
martial artists. Ron Van Cleef actually, you know, he's a martial arts icon and legend. He actually spent some time in North Carolina. He was in the Marines, Camp Lejeune. He actually almost got hung in Kinston. That's when he wrote his book called The Hanged Man.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
talks about almost getting his life taken by the Klan in North Carolina. So you've had a lot of Black martial artists come through North Carolina, whether it's the tournaments or during their time in the military. So that's the stories we want to tell, man. We want to show the diversity of the American South from the Black perspective.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So we only have a few more minutes, so I'm gonna go right to the clips. I know people are excited to see them. So thank you again, Chris. Stay on for a second while I bring up those clips. And thank you, man. Thank you for spending some time with us. Thank you for always being so supportive. Oh,
Donate to the Luminal Theater. Please donate. They're doing some great stuff. We've partnered with them for quite some time now. Definitely donate to the Luminal Theater.
thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you again, Chris. And everyone, enjoy the trailer, brand new trailer for Wilmington on Fire 2. What order do you want me to play these in? Uh-oh. Did you freeze up? Oh, shit. All right, everyone. Wait. Oh, you're back. Oh, you froze for a second. I thought it was. I was hoping it wasn't on my end. No offense to you. We can hear you.
Okay, now I'm saying show the Grandmaster one first, and then show Wilmington.
Okay, I was hoping you'd say that. All right, cool. Thank you again, bro.
People think that karate is only going to a tournament fighting. It deals with your whole personality, your whole being. 45. Karate is a way of life. It changes your whole body. You become better at everything that you want to do. My name is Grandmaster Victor Moore. I became the first black Grand National Champion in the world. You go outside and you hit the raindrop that's coming down, and you see a raindrop, bing!
I'm blessed to have the opportunity to learn from this guy because he has so much knowledge.
People says, if you done all this and all that, Vic Moore, why I never heard of you? Get some of my DVDs for you, Lee. Speed is in the mind. That's what makes Vic Moore fast. The one thing that's left for me is to leave my legacy and keep real karate alive.
Recording in progress.
Some people think that karate is only going to a tournament fighting. It deals with your whole personality, your whole being.
The river ran red, they say. Each and every person that I speak with, what they remember is black bodies, bloated bodies in the river.
A black thought was self-empowerment, independence, build community. That spirit was what was attacked in 1898.
Don't have sympathy for your community. Fix your community. Your sympathy only goes so far.
I believe that the next wave of emergence will be a level of consciousness that won't look like physical action. I believe inside this community is going to be an actual immersion of a shift in culture and a shift in actual how people are choosing to think.
The beauty that's here, I think it's important for Black people to come back and experience that again. And I know we can thrive because we did it before.
Hey, Londe, sorry about that. We were just finishing up showing our last clip from our previous interview, which went a minute late. Can you hear me okay, actually? Oh, I can't hear. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think I mentioned this in the email. If I didn't, apologies. But my screen, because of what we're running with the software, you're not going to be able to see me. So just be me in the God presence, I guess.
Okay.
That's not what I am, but I'm just saying. But thank you for being able to spend a few minutes with us. So I'm just going to ask you about your work and about Black Film Space, of course, and about working and as a filmmaker and why it's important to support organizations like yours and like the Luminal.
Okay.
All right, cool. You okay? How you been?
I've been good. I've been, running around, but I'm doing all right. How about you? I'm so sorry about your mom. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, of course. Of course. No problem. No. Okay, great.
Okay, we are about to come back, and we're going to welcome Lande Youssef from Black Film Space. Lande, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. We're doing this thing. It's been a little rough around the edges at certain points. Technology is being technology, but we always got to do something different. That's what the Luminal's all about, especially, so but doing well.
Good. Great.
So thank you for spending a few minutes with us.
Of course.
Black Film Space was actually started around the same time the Luminal was. So we're like cousins in many respects. We're like cousins who grew up together, right?
Exactly.
So I'm so grateful to be able to chat with you. I know Reggie, your co-founder of Black Film Space, is going to be here tonight, but I'm obviously glad to sit with you and talk about not only BFS but your work as a filmmaker. So let's start. Actually, I'm going to work a little backwards. I'm going to start with you instead of with Black Film Space. I know, and people are obviously familiar with BFS, but and I want you to definitely speak on that. But I want to speak about you and your work as a filmmaker as well, because for multiple reasons. But we also, the Luminal, also co-presented one of your films earlier this year in February, and we were so glad to finally be able to do so. I know you do so much work for others, but I wanted to do a little focus on you because of that, at least to start off. And so can you tell us? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to answer your question.
Oh, go ahead.
Of my work history. So I started off in nonfiction docuseries, in casting, production, development. Thought I was going to go like the executive route on that trajectory, and then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, so I started making films around the time that Black Film Space was being generated, which was like 2015, 2016. I crowdfunded for my first short, shot that. It aired on Shorts TV, which was like a great accomplishment for my first film, and I was really satisfied with that. Then my second film, I did like the whole festival run thing, developing that into a feature-length project and working on some other expressions of the actual idea, which I'm really excited about. And then lastly, the film that you mentioned, which was Love and Submission, I directed that short film. That film, screened at a lot of notable festivals. And we also got into the Full Spectrum Features program, which was like a huge accomplishment for us, screening in 60 theaters, art house theaters across the country. Wouldn't have been able to do it without the relationship with the Luminal Theater. So it just kind of shows when you work in collaboration with other people that have similar missions and similar goals in terms of helping and supporting underrepresented groups, it always comes back, to you in different ways. And that was like a prime example of that. I also started getting into branded content. Directing and producing campaigns. I just did my first one this October, which was really cool. It was a web-based campaign. And I am slated to direct another project in January that is in progress. I'll just say that. But yeah, I'm just out here. I'm writing, directing, producing content. and in the documentary and in the scripted space. And ultimately that's my goal, to make my own projects, and make projects that have like a cultural and social impact in some capacity, regardless of the genre.
I'm so glad to hear that. I didn't know you were doing branding content now, so I'm not surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised, I should say. I'm not surprised that you're doing it. I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that you are that's part of your repertoire now. So I haven't used that word in a long time, but that's part of your repertoire now. So yes. That's fantastic to hear. And we were elated to show Love and Submission as part of Our Right to Gaze. That was the series that was a showcase I was a part of earlier this year. I'm actually proud to announce I was hoping to get some of my partners from that series on. We just weren't able to work it out logistically, but I'm actually proud to announce we're going to be doing it again next year in 2022.
Congrats.
So
that's awesome.
So if you have any, in the spirit of collaboration, if you have any cool filmmakers that you think should be a part of it, please feel free to reach out.
Absolutely. I definitely will.
Cool. But yeah, I'm glad to hear about. I'm glad you could share with our audience a little bit more about your personal history as a filmmaker as well. My first short, I actually show it at Shorts TV too. So it's a tiny world.
Oh, well, look at that.
Yeah, right. I still have the T-shirt.
Yeah. No, I was like super excited about that. I was like, wow, this is great. Like, super encouraging. It just was like the boost that I needed to continue making films. So
absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. So you said you can't really share the next thing you're working on. Did I hear that correctly? Like it's in development.
Yeah,
it's
right? Basically a sizzle for a scripted series.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah. So let's shift to Black film space now. As you just mentioned, it's been around since 2015. Like cousins again. I remember I was so really excited. I think y'all started like a little later in the year, 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Because we began with, I've been doing exhibition for a while, but Under the Lumino, we started that summer, kind of like alongside Black TV and Film Collective. And then Black Film Space came along, and it was like, wow, there's all these people finally doing the things that needed to be done. Funny, with the Lumino, we wanted to actually do like a little collective type thing, but it was like, it's kind of too much for us to do. And then when we saw Black TV and Film Collective and y'all were doing it, we were like, okay, good. We can sit back and let them do that. We'll focus on exhibition. Everybody will be happy. Everyone, because there's space for everybody to do, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about why you started Black Film Space and how it's going.
Sure. So Reggie Williams connected with me, the other co-founder, on Facebook, and we met up for coffee. We initially planned on doing brunch with some friends, kind of just making it like a series of like Black people in New York who work in film, because, in LA, everyone kind of knows where to go to find like their filmmaker friends, whereas in New York, everyone's kind of like spread out a little bit. There's definitely like an established nonfiction content community, but like narrative projects, it's a little bit harder to identify who's who. So we wanted to like convene and bring people together. That turned into a happy hour. That happy hour turned into a script reading. Then that turned into like a small talk with like a filmmaker. Like it just kind of like gradually grew. And then every time we did something, the amount of people just started to like grow and grow and grow. So around 2017, I want to say Black Film Space really took off, where there was like more national recognition. And it became clear, like, there's a demand for our organization. And I think some of the main tenets of our core beliefs include providing skill-enhancing opportunities. Reggie and I had both lamented when we first met, like, we go to these panels and they're really great and they fill you up emotionally, but we need more takeaways. Like, what can we do to make our films dope?
Yeah, them panels be, yeah. You hit it right on the head.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little under the weather. So, it was like, what can we do to like become a better director, a better producer, a better writer, so that the next time we make something, whatever information we got from that webinar panel is something that we can tangibly apply to that project. Like that was like a huge thing for us. And then also not making people who would be considered like novices or beginners feel isolated. You know, I think this industry is so, you know, it's status driven, right? And everything's about cloud and who you know and who people have access to, and everyone's like super ambitious and hungry. But sometimes people who have a lot of talent that might not have the level of exposure get discouraged and waste away to a degree. And we wanted to make sure that everybody at every experience level felt a sense of comfort and safety in our community. And there are so many people who are doing really well now that came and was like, I got a day job. I feel like I can write. I'm going to come see your workshops. We'll see. And now they're getting into programs. Some of them are staffed on television shows. You know what I mean? So our organization has contributed to the artistic and craft, the artistic growth and the development of people's craft. So, you know, I feel like to a degree, not even to a degree, we are accomplishing our mission. And then Reggie and myself, I mean, you know I wouldn't have had the courage to make anything if it wasn't for the Black film space community, because they were the ones reading my script. They were the ones saying, if you need a hand on set, I can come through, and being like, oh, okay, you should frame your shot that way. And, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. You know, so it's like just having that like extra push. If I wrote a script tomorrow, there's a few people I could send it to and say, hey, can you tell me what you honestly think? We need that. We need that.
It's like a community of trust, right?
Yeah.
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 That's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. No, it is. It is really, really awesome. It is.
You know, there's one degree of thing that I especially like about Black film space, and this is my perspective. So tell me if I'm off base, okay?
Okay.
It's nothing. It's a positive. Trust me.
Okay.
you looked a little skeptical there when I said that, so I just wanted to see. But I like how, and this is not 100% given, but I like how I think probably because of your age and Reggie's age, that the focus is on younger filmmakers or up and coming filmmakers. I feel part of the issue with some of the other ones is that some of the other collectives, I should say, and that's not Black collectives, I'm just talking about film collectives, period, is that a lot of them have some older filmmakers that do very well and blah, 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 and, you know, been around for a while and working on different things, and they tend to talk down to a lot of the younger filmmakers. And obviously, if you're Black, that's intensified. So that's one thing I really like about y'all, is that, I don't know if it was intentional. You don't have to tell me if it was or wasn't.
Actually, it kind of was it intentional? No, I think because of Reggie and myself.
Yeah.
Because we present younger. I mean, I'm like borderline. I don't know.
I hear you. Yeah, but I mean, especially when you started. That's I'm talking about, like, especially within those first 3 or 4 years or so. You know.
Yes, I skewed younger for sure, and. You know, I do feel like, you know, our networks were comprised of people who were young.
Yeah. That's
who we had access to. Those are the people who were willing to talk to us, right? Those are the people who came to our organization.
Yeah.
So I think organically it just kind of came that space. So, yeah.
No, and I'm saying that's I love that. I mean, I love that energy to it too, you know, because I'm not asking your age, and I don't know it, but I'm not asking either. But I'm probably somewhere around between like 7 and 10 years older than y'all, and most of the people there. But I mean, I say all that to say that, like, I love that the space is created for these young filmmakers, you know. You know, congratulations on that being a key aspect, and I think I to what I said before, I feel that. Not only the talking down to that some older people do, but also there's probably a level of comfortability among, you know, younger filmmakers working with each other, right? So
Yep.
You would know better than I would,
willing
but
to take a risk. You have the time.
yeah. Thank you. I like that what you
there's
said
a
about the
lot of
risk.
things. Yeah, like people are like, yeah, I'll jump on that crate and take that shot, or yeah, I can give you 10 hours of my time. I don't have to hire a babysitter. You know what I'm like? But those are like things that like just innately came up, or like, oh, I'm a recent college grad. I still live at home, so I have the time to come to every workshop. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I just moved from Ohio, and I don't know anyone. So I need to make I need to make friends here. We have all like different variations of those stories within our community. So, yeah.
And I'm glad, y'all starting that gave you the, I guess, power, or empowered you to start making more of your own films. I didn't realize that. I mean, that's natural for all artists. But I didn't realize that was one of the things that did for you. So I'm really glad to hear that. Can you maybe expound a little bit on maybe some of the reluctance as a filmmaker that you might have had?
I was making decent money. I was very comfortable working in reality TV, but I wasn't happy. Right? I was really unhappy, actually. And I don't know, I kind of felt like over time in classes or like reading other people's scripts, I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I'm that talented, and when I just was like, screw it, I'm just gonna write and see what happens. And then I would show it to people. They're like, this is good, you should shoot it. Like, this is like ready to go. And I'm like, really? And I think hearing that from people who are already making stuff made me comfortable with my work. So, and I think also the positive reinforcement from our the community constantly reassure me like, hey, Londe, like even if you don't like your first or second film, you're gonna make other projects that are gonna be better than that one. So just make the movie. Those things really gave me the chutzpah, I guess you could say, to just get on set and just do it. And then on top of that, I got support on strategically presenting my first crowdfunding campaign, successfully raising the money, doing the screening, like all of those different things. A lot of our members walked me through or came and showed up and supported, and it just made me feel like, oh, okay, it's not just like my friends and family who are gonna just cheer me on just because they love me, but it's also like my friends that are like in the trenches with me too. And like a lot of us are still grinding and like getting ahead and doing our thing. It's really remarkable. And then when I see a new group, I'm like, oh, they're gonna do the same thing I did, So there's also that aspect of it as well. But yeah, I think constantly hearing that like your work is worthy of being produced, made, and directed gave me the motivation and the courage to continue.
Wow, that's beautiful. I think that's a great point for us to end on. So thank you again, Londe. Can you let everyone know how they can find you, how they can find Black Film Space?
Absolutely. So if you want to get in touch with Black Film Space, you can email us at info@blackfilmspace.com. Or you can log on to our website at www.blackfilmspace.com. We are all over social media at Black Film Space. Our biggest community is on Instagram, but we're also on Facebook and Twitter as well. Our podcast can be found on iTunes and Spotify. Yeah. And that's kind of it. And if you want details also on our membership program or our membership plans, you can log on to our website and you get more details on that as well.
Very, very cool. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. I totally forgot to bring this up. Y'all recently been working on Quayle TV. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Deshawn, we connected with her, through just like partnership outreach. We got on an initial call, discussed more of our goals, realized they were very much aligned, right? Like she was looking for more budding filmmakers and our community was looking for more opportunities to distribute their content. So we decided to collaborate on a grant in a contest where our members would submit films and whoever is filmed, we felt was ready to go on Clearly TV's platform, would not only get distribution on Clearly TV, but would also receive some funding as well. That's just as a simple grant, as a nod to the quality of their work. Lastly, they would also get a feature on both of our platforms, which are both fairly large. So it's just an opportunity for a filmmaker to get recognition via distribution, grants, and then some media exposure as well. And we do it every quarter.
Oh, really? I didn't realize it was quarterly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. I thought it was I thought it was yearly, so I didn't even realize. So I'm glad I asked that question because I was ignorant. So.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic opportunity. Well, congratulations on that and so much more. Everyone, Londa Youssef, Black Film Space, fantastic filmmaker on her own right. Thank you again, Londa.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we'll see you again soon.
All right. Have a great night. Bye.
Peace, sis. I think I gotta let the song in. Ready to start for the next part, but I think I gotta let the song in. Alright, see, there we go. Alright. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Curtis Caesar John, founder, executive director of the Luminal Theater. Thank you to all who donated so far. I hope you enjoyed our last few segments. We just chatted with Lande Youssef of Black Film Space, one of our partners, one of our friends for many years. Also with Christopher Everett of Speller Street Films, director of Wilmington on Fire and upcoming Grandmaster and Wilmington on Fire 2. We also recently showed Anthology, a new web series from Ashley Denise and Ricky Lene of Nuance Entertainment, and showed part one of our 2016 discussion with Nikiyatu Jusu, one of our fantastic filmmaker who's doing very, very great things right now and will continue to in the future. Well, she's always been doing great things, so which I said in her introduction. We're going to go into our international segment now, and so we're starting with Shola Amu, a friend to the Luminal for many years. One of the first things that we showed when we had our Popular Space back in 2015 when we first started was his first short film, Touch. And last year we showed his second feature film, which was The Last Tree. So you're about to sit down for a pre-recorded interview that we did with him yesterday, actually. And see some of his trailers. If you're unfamiliar with his work, you will now be familiar and we'll get to know all about him. So stay tuned.
So in a nutshell, what are you trying to achieve here?
I want my next project to be about the changes in Brixton. I want to talk about gentrification.
Wake up, Brixton! Wake up! This isn't Dorset. This isn't Shoreditch. It's all about wheat-free, gluten-free, frappuccinos.
Your plan has one major flaw. You're essentially gentrification.
I grew up here.
You wouldn't be in my film, but you want me to be in yours.
This is what we should be talking about, right?
I wouldn't change being part of you for all the world. You know where you're all my boys.
But we're not.
She's not coming to take you away.
You promise? There's so much we can do here now that you're home.
How are you, love? You settling in okay?
Yeah.
I did not raise you to be rude.
You didn't raise me. I miss you.
I miss you too.
Send angels to encamp around Olufemi. Teach him to be the head and not the tail.
School's good, man. What are you gonna do after? You can work for yourself and be free. You wanna be free?
I don't feel like we're living in the same house. I come, you go.
Look, I'm sorry you're lonely, but it ain't my fault he's not here.
You don't know anything.
I know he left. And one day, I'll leave too. Man's got to do what he can to protect his family. We're brothers now.
You really think those boys are your friends?
I didn't bring you here for this. I just want what was best for you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this segment of our live telethon. This event is pre-recorded, hence me wearing something different. But we were able to, or rather, our esteemed guest was able to make some time to spend with us. And so we welcome Shola Amu, director of The Last Tree, A Moving Image, so many other films, and so many great upcoming films. So welcome, Shola. Appreciate you spending some time with us, man.
Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. I really wanted to have you on because when Illuminal started, your film Touch, which is how I first got to know you, and now we became film friends, was one of the first things that we showed when we had our pop-up space in Bed-Stuy in 2015. It's a great short, sci-fi short that a lot of people have thankfully seen, and I know it helped put you on a map among other great projects, but that one was really very, very stand out. And so, you mean a lot to the history of the Luminal itself. So we had to have you on, and I'm just really so glad that you're able to make the time to spend with us today.
No, I mean, as you stated, you guys have been rocking with me since Touch, which was what I made that in 2014. It was technically like my grad film from film school. So, of course, got to make time for those who've been on the journey,
So tell us a little bit about, because your film The Last Tree came out last year. Can you tell us a little bit how, and we did actually a Q&A with you when it was released here in the States. So can you tell us a little bit how the reaction to The Last Tree has been, especially given it's been over a year now since it's been out publicly. And can you tell us how that's gone?
I think it's the Last Tree in a way is still the gift that keeps on giving in terms of the response to it, whether it's in the States or in the UK or in Nigeria, where we had a little run there as well.
For how long?
I think it was like a few weeks out there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It's. I think I still get messages just from people who watched the film, whether they saw it on a theatrical run or caught up with it one of the platforms that it resided on, just hitting me up and to send me messages about how it makes them feel, and it's always quite inspiring to me, especially if they've some of them would have been people who had gone through some of the experiences that Femi went through, and so it was just it's been the film remains a gift, and it's one that I'm so glad I made and got to share that story. And I also think it was great for showing a particular way of approaching cinema, and it was some of the language I was using, which was, has been an evolution from touch to a moving image to The Last Tree. So, yeah, I feel like the reaction has been incredibly positive, and I still get warm about it. So, yeah, it's good.
That makes sense. I'm still... First time I saw it was when you were at Sundance. I was so glad to be there that year when you were able to premiere it at the Sundance Film Festival. And I'm still, I don't want to say amazed, but I'm still, I still got emotional thinking about, the film and my even reaction to it, especially that, multiple parts, but especially like toward the ending, like not to give any spoilers, but like, when he meets his dad for the first time in a very, very long time, that, and what happens through that still tugs at me. And like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. I said that last time we spoke, but it still affects me. And so I'm glad to see that the film has touched so many other people and so many audiences in a lot of, in so many places too. I'm glad. I didn't even know y'all showed in Nigeria as well. I'm so glad you're able to make that happen. Were you able to show in other parts on the continent, or just?
I think I don't know. I think it may have, but I think mainly it was Nigeria because we had a theatrical run with the cinemas out there. Film One, who in some part helped us during our production when we were actually shooting in Nigeria. So they're like a company out there who do production services, but also own the cinemas. So it was, it was through them that we had the screening, and it was great to have a run out there, and just because this is such a diasporic film that part of it's just conceptually having a run in Nigeria makes a lot of sense.
And can you tell us a little bit about? I was able to meet the star of the film, Samuel Adewunmi. Did I pronounce that right? Okay.
You got that.
Cool. I try to, got Nigerian names down at least. I was able to meet him at Sundance when y'all premiered. Have you kept up with him? Do you know what is he up to?
Oh yeah, he's doing great. He's about to front. He's got a series coming out on the BBC that he's the lead in. 4 parts called You Don't Know Me, I believe. It's he's been working on various different things, mainly television, but in the UK. But yeah, this is a great thing for him to have a series that he's the lead of. So I think his star is rising, he's continuing to develop, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
But good, man. I'm so glad to hear that Sam is having a nice, thriving career, and he's going to star in something. He's real talent as well. So that's really great to see. Can you, has anything moved with the moving image? That totally wasn't intentional of me to use those 2 words together like that.
Yeah.
But has the moving image still kind of had a life since its release a few years back?
Yeah, in the UK, both films got put on Netflix at the same time. The Last Tree and A Moving Image, and I think it was interesting to have them both there because I think the thing about A Moving Image is it's a film that every year it has a kind of like an accumulative power because of what it's really looking at in terms of the way spaces change. The more Brixton changes over time, A Moving Image becomes more and more of a kind of like capsuled snapshot of a particular era in that space's history. And on so many levels, just on the geography of the space, things that we shot when we were making the film in 2014 that no longer exists, or people who no longer exist in that space. It's just it's kind of it's a snapshot of history of that space, and I feel like every year there's always someone who wants to screen it, in obviously in relation to this conversation about gentrification, and so that I think in that way it does have a life.
All right, that's really good to know. That's I know I'm gushing about you and your work, but that's another film that I think is still vastly underrated, and so I'm glad they did the co-release or the simultaneous release.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally. I'm generally underrated, I feel, but it's good.
Well, I agree. Hey,
But it's good.
You have the Hollywood ego now, though. So there we go.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's funny.
So you just I know your time is limited. So like I said, thank you again for joining us for a few. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on now?
Well, yeah, I'm developing 2 projects. One with Searchlight, which is basically an adaptation of. It's basically a biopic of Muhammad Ali. So been working on that with an amazing writer called Philip House and amazing producer Alex Madigan. And it's a film. We're very excited about it. It's really looking at the period that really focuses on his refusal to join Vietnam. And I think it's a different look at Ali and a different approach to what would normally be, I think, a classical biopic. So that's a very exciting project for us, because I think we got an opportunity to do something that's very different with someone who is one of the most interesting characters of our lifetimes, I guess, in that sense. And then I'm also working on an adaptation of the podcast Serial with HBO, which is looking at the criminal justice system in Ohio, East Cleveland specifically, which I was recently over there over the summer doing some research. And that's a series, and that's, again, very interesting because I think we get the opportunity to take my kind of aesthetic approach to a series that in many ways could be done one way, but I think we're taking a particular approach with it that I find particularly exciting.
That sounds very, very cool. And it's totally looking forward. Serial is one of my favorite podcasts. So really glad to hear that, of course, and the favorite of many, many people. That's how I started really listening to podcasts. Yeah. Mostly listening to podcasts. Or should I say, mostly started listening to non-film related podcasts, because that was all the stuff I was listening to was, stuff about our world previously. And Ali, I don't know if you've ever seen, so we recently showed this film called Black Rodeo, and we actually showed it twice in the past 2 months. Have you heard of this documentary?
I have not heard of it, no.
So it's interesting. It takes place in Harlem. It's about the 1971 rodeo, which was a rodeo of all Black cowboys and Black cowboy girls and people who work in that world of cattle riding and breaking. I don't know if you know anything about this stuff, but that's what it was about. But it all took place like right off of Harlem, or right outside Harlem. But Ali makes a great guest appearance in the film. I'll send you some video on it.
Please do.
Ali makes a great guest appearance in this film, and you really just get to see him. I mean, he's still Ali, and he's bigger than the world, obviously, because he always is. But you get to see him ride a horse right up 125th Street, and he tries to wrestle this bull.
I for one would definitely like to see Ali riding a horse on 125th.
Yeah, right. I'll definitely send you some stuff on it. But the other interesting thing is you kind of just get to see him among the people, like unfettered, you know. And like I said, he's still big in the world and still saying, you know, stuff about Joe Frazier and all that kind of stuff that, you know, he's known for. But it's one of the rare times you don't see him like totally cut up, you know. And so yeah, I think you would really find that interesting. So I'm definitely gonna send that to you. It's like I said, the film's called Black Rodeo. It's from a director named Jeff Canoe, released in 1972, made in 71. And we've had good reactions to showing it. We showed it in New York and in South Carolina in October and November. So I'll check that out. But Ali, I mean, unquestionably, still is definitely one of the greatest of all time, especially for the Black community. I mean, just the way so I look forward to how you embody him, I guess, you know, and especially since I know you do things a little differently, I'm really looking forward to that. So anything else you want to share with our audiences, you know, about you and your work and anything, or even more so just how it is, in the last few minutes, just how important it is for your films to reach like Black audiences. You know, that's the point of the Luminals, that we bring films directly to Black people.
I think it's essential. You know, the conversations we're having in these films are very particular, and they are obviously, as a Black man, having a particular type of conversation, for that conversation to be fully facilitated, you know, Black audiences are essential across the diaspora. So yeah, it's very important to me.
Very cool, very cool. Well, thank you, Shola. We appreciate you spending this great time with us. Look forward to your new films. And just so you know, so at the beginning of this, you know, we be showing trailers from The Last Tree and from A Moving Image. So people will be very familiar with them, you know, for what we spoke about in our conversation. So, and I urge you all to go out and watch those films. If you haven't seen A Moving Image, if you haven't seen The Last Tree, if you haven't seen Touch It, if you haven't seen any of Shola's work, please go watch it. Or if you've seen some and haven't seen all, make sure you watch the rest. You know, his work is all about what the Luminal is about. It's about telling different stories, telling our stories in different and expansive ways, but also still very personal ways. So we hope you enjoyed this conversation, and we will see you on the other end. And thank you again, Shola. Thank you for spending some time with us.
No, always a pleasure.
All right, absolutely. All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Take care.
Peace.
Hope you really enjoyed that interview that we did with Shola Amu. You can catch his films, A Moving Image and The Last Tree, in various places. The Last Tree is a little more available.
So in a nutshell, what are you trying to achieve?
Video's still playing.
I want my next project to be about the...
But yes. So we'll be right back. We're just queuing up our next segment. And just enjoy some of the hot music we've been playing. We've been playing some more of. In a few. Be right back, y'all. Remember, also donate. That's what we're here for. Today's Giving Tuesday, the day of giving to many organizations here, especially nonprofits and the ones that do the work on the ground that bring you the art that you really want to see. So hope you can take some time to go to our Kindful page on luminal.kindful.com. That's luminal, luminal.kindful.com, and donate. And go right to our website, to our support page, and donate as well. Same links on those pages, but maybe a little easier to find. So, all right. See you all again in a few minutes.
It's only up the street. Everybody's dancing and everybody's on the beat. I'm begging you now, it's where we both to be. Everybody's dancing and everybody's on the beat. Are you ready or not? It's only up the street. Everybody's dancing and everybody's on the beat.
Say that you'll accept this invitation.
Would you say go on?
Music can give lovers inspiration.
It's just a place where we belong.
Nobody has to care when there's music in the air. It's nothing like you ever seen before.
People dancing all night long.
When you say you got the time, gonna go there.
Are you ready or not? It's only up the street. Everybody's dancing and everybody's on the beat. Are you ready or not? It's where we both to be. Everybody's dancing and everybody's on the beat.
What you say? You and I should go together.
What you say?
It's for everyone to see. What you say? You want to come along with me?
Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
stuff, that funk, that sweet, that funky stuff. Give it to me. Give me that stuff, that funk, that sweet, that funky stuff. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give me the funk, that sweet, funky stuff.
Hey, Curtis, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Okay. Let me see if I can. If I'm popping up. Let me see if I can see you. Can you hear me now? All right, cool. I was. Hey, yeah, that'd be great. I said, yeah, that'd be great.
Give it to me. Give me that stuff, that funk, that sweet, that funky stuff. Give it to me. Give me that stuff, that funk, that sweet, that funky stuff. Give it to me. Give me that stuff, that sweet, that funky stuff.
I did have, see what I had written down. I thought I had something written down. Kind of, you told me to go over two things. So 1 second. Okay. All right, let me just turn it up then. Okay. Try to get back there. Am I there? All right, cool. There we go. Yeah, so I won't be able to go back and forth. But yeah, I'd love to tell you about what I do, or where should I start? Where should I start?
So crazy.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, cool.
Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt Rick James, but when I have a very special guest, everyone, I want you to meet Olu Baker. He is the media coordinator for the Luminal Theater.
Hello everybody.
Hey Olu, thank you for taking a few minutes to chat with everyone here. Do me a favor, can you just tell us a little bit about, or, oops, I'm sorry, hold on 1 second, Olu. I messed up something.
All right.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I was being very stupid there. Hold on, everyone. Sorry. I messed things up. Uh-oh, what did I do, man? Okay. Give me a second, everyone.
Okay.
You were right there on screen and I jacked it up. Hold on a second. I was trying to be cute. That was a problem. Okay. Damn it. Ah. Hold on a second, everybody. Hold on a second, everyone. Be right back.